Christmas morning. The smell of cinnamon rolls filled the air. Twinkling lights danced across the tree. Bing Crosby crooned from the speakers. My mother's laughter echoed through the house, my house, though no one seemed to remember that anymore. My younger sister Emma sat cross-legged on the floor in her designer pajamas, surrounded by torn wrapping paper and expensive gifts. Another cashmere sweater. Another pair of diamond earrings. Another luxury handbag that cost more than most people's rent. Then my father stood up, holding a small velvet box wrapped with a red satin ribbon. The room went quiet. "Emma," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Your mother and I have been waiting for this moment for a long time." He placed the box in her hands like it contained the crown jewels. She opened it slowly, her perfectly manicured nails catching the light. Inside were 2 brass keys on a silver keychain. She gasped. Her hand flew to her mouth. Tears instantly filled her eyes. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Are these?" "The house keys," my father finished, beaming. "The house is yours now, sweetheart. We're signing the deed over to you next week. You and Brad can finally have the home you deserve." My mother burst into tears, pulling Emma into a crushing embrace. "You've always been there for us, baby. Always. This is our way of saying thank you." Brad, Emma's husband, a finance bro with gelled hair and an ego the size of Manhattan, pumped his fist. "Yes, babe, we got it. We actually got it." Emma sobbed into my mother's shoulder. "Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't believe this is real." Everyone was crying, hugging, celebrating. And me? I sat on the couch in the corner, coffee cup warming my hands, watching the scene unfold like a twisted Christmas movie. And I smiled. A slow, knowing smile. Because those keys in Emma's trembling hands? They opened my house. The house I bought. The house I owned. The house legally registered in my name with the county clerk's office. They had no idea what was coming. And when the truth came out, it would destroy everything. Let me rewind. My name is Claire Donovan. I'm 32 years old. My sister Emma is 28. If you looked at our childhood photos, you'd think we were the perfect American family. 2 daughters. Suburban house. Golden retriever. White picket fence. But underneath that Instagram perfect surface was a truth everyone in our family knew but no one ever said out loud. Emma was the favorite. It wasn't subtle. It was blatant, unapologetic favoritism that started the day she was born. Emma was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. Perfect grades without trying. Homecoming queen. Prom princess. Dating the quarterback. Accepted into every college she applied to with my parents cheering in the front row. I was the other daughter. The one who wore hand-me-downs while Emma got shopping sprees at Nordstrom. The one who worked part-time at Dairy Queen in high school while Emma got a brand new Honda Civic for her 16th birthday with a bow on top. When I asked for help with college tuition, my father said, "Claire, you're smart. You'll figure it out. Emma needs our support more right now." Emma, who had a full scholarship. Emma, who still got a monthly allowance of $800. Emma, who never worked a day in her teenage life. I moved out 3 days after my 18th birthday with $700 in my checking account, a duffel bag of clothes, and a burning determination to prove I didn't need them. I worked 3 jobs. Waitress in the morning. Retail in the afternoon. Bar shifts at night. I slept 4 hours a night and lived off ramen and Sprite. I put myself through community college, then transferred to a state university. I graduated with a degree in business and $63,000 in student loan debt. My parents didn't come to my graduation. They were in Cancun with Emma, celebrating her getting into grad school. I didn't cry. I was used to it by then. Instead, I got a job at a commercial real estate firm and worked like my life depended on it, because it did. By the time I was 24, I'd saved $20,000. Most people would have gone on vacation. Bought a new car. Celebrated. I bought a foreclosed duplex in a rough neighborhood for $78,000. It was a disaster. Peeling paint. broken windows, squirrels in the attic. My friends thought I'd lost my mind, but I saw potential. I spent every weekend for 6 months renovating it. I learned to drywall from YouTube. I installed floors myself. I painted until my shoulders ached and my hands were covered in blisters. I rented out both units and made $1,800 a month in profit. I used that profit to buy another property, then another. By 26, I owned 4 rental properties and had built a real estate portfolio worth over $500,000. I wasn't rich, but I was stable, independent, successful. And my parents? They barely noticed. "That's nice, Claire," my mother would say when I told her about a new property, already distracted by her phone. "Emma just got promoted at her marketing job. Did we tell you?" They always told me. Then, for years ago, everything changed. My father's construction business collapsed. A major client went bankrupt, leaving him holding $160,000 in unpaid invoices. He couldn't cover payroll. He couldn't pay suppliers. The business folded in 3 months. Then my mother got sick. Breast cancer. She needed surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. Even with insurance, the medical bills were crushing. They stopped answering my calls. When I finally drove over unannounced, I found my mother crying at the kitchen table, surrounded by past due mortgage notices. "We're going to lose the house," she whispered. "The bank is foreclosing in 45 days. My father sat in his recliner, staring at nothing. He looked like he'd aged 10 years overnight. "How much do you owe?" I asked. $187,000, my mother said. "We've tried everything, Claire. We can't get a loan. No one will help us." I looked around the house. The house I grew up in. The house where Emma had birthday parties and graduation celebrations while I watched from the sidelines. I should have walked away, but I didn't. "I'll buy the house," I said. My father's head snapped up. "What?" "I'll buy it from you. I'll pay off the mortgage. You can stay here rent-free for as long as you want. But legally, the house will be mine." My mother stared at me. "Claire, that's your entire savings." "I know. You'd do that for us?" I hesitated. Then I nodded. "Family takes care of family," I said. 3 weeks later, we sat in a lawyer's office. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Monica Chen who specialized in real estate transactions, laid out the paperwork. "This is a standard deed transfer," Monica explained. "Claire will purchase the property for $187,000, paid in full. Michael and Linda will retain the right to live on the property rent-free for as long as they choose. However, legal ownership transfers to Claire immediately." My father barely looked at the documents before signing. My mother signed with shaking hands, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "Claire, you saved us." I signed my name. The notary stamped the pages. Monica filed everything with the county clerk's office. It was done. The house was mine. My father shook my hand, looking relieved. My mother hugged me tight. "We won't forget this," she promised. I wish I'd recorded that moment. I wish I'd made them say it on video. Because 2 years later, they'd act like it never happened. For the first year, everything was fine. I paid the property taxes, $4,000 annually. I paid the homeowner's insurance, $1,800 a year. I handled maintenance issues and repairs. When the roof started leaking, I paid $6,000 to replace it. When the furnace died, I paid $3,800 for a new one. I never asked them for money. I never made them feel like tenants. It was their home.
2 years ago,
I just owned the
Emma
paperwork.
announced her engagement
But
to
then
Brad
Emma
Mitchell,
got engaged.
a finance guy she'd been dating for 11 months.
Brad worked at an investment firm, drove a BMW he couldn't really afford, and talked constantly about cryptocurrency and disrupting markets. I didn't like him. He was arrogant, condescending, and treated service workers like dirt. But Emma was in love, so the family acted like he was Prince Charming. The wedding became my mother's obsession. She wanted everything perfect. Destination venue, designer dress, artisan catering, live band. Imported flowers. The budget ballooned to $85,000. My parents didn't have $85,000. But that didn't stop them from spending it. They maxed out credit cards, took out personal loans. My mother even borrowed $15,000 from her sister. When I found out, I was horrified. "Mom, you can't afford this," I said. "It's Emma's special day," she replied, as if that justified financial ruin. "We'll figure it out." Emma didn't care about the debt. She just wanted her perfect Instagram wedding. She complained about everything. The venue wasn't elegant enough. The flowers weren't seasonal enough. The photographer wasn't artistic enough. I watched my parents scramble to please her, throwing money they didn't have at a one-day party. And I felt invisible. 2 months before the wedding, my mother called me crying. "Claire, the caterer needs $12,000 up front, and we don't have it. They're threatening to cancel." I closed my eyes. I knew what was coming. "Can you help us?" she asked. "Please? It's Emma's wedding." I should have said no, but I didn't. I paid the $12,000. At the wedding, Emma didn't thank me. She didn't even acknowledge me in her speech. She thanked my parents for supporting her dreams. She thanked Brad's parents for welcoming her into their family. She thanked her bridesmaids, her wedding planner, even the florist. But not me. I sat at a table in the back, watching my parents beam with pride, and realized something. I would never be enough for them. No matter how much I gave, how much I sacrificed, how much I saved them, I would always be the daughter they tolerated, not the one they celebrated. After the wedding, Emma and Brad moved into a cramped 2-bedroom apartment in the city. Emma hated it. She complained constantly on social media. Thin walls. Noisy neighbors. No yard. This isn't the life I imagined. She wanted a house. A big house. Preferably one she didn't have to pay for. And suddenly, my parents started having conversations. Quiet conversations that stopped when I entered the room. Whispered phone calls with Emma. Meaningful looks exchanged over dinner. I knew something was happening, but I didn't know what. Then came Thanksgiving. I showed up with wine and a homemade pumpkin pie. Emma and Brad were already there, sitting in the living room like they owned the place. After dinner, my father pulled me aside into his study. "Claire, we need to talk," he said. I set down my wine glass. "Okay. Your mother and I have been thinking. Emma and Brad need to settle down. They need a house. A real home." "Okay," I said slowly. "Are they buying something?" "We'd like to give them this house," he said. The room tilted. "I'm sorry, what?" "This house. We want to sign it over to Emma." I stared at him. "Dad, this is my house. I bought it. Remember? 4 years ago? $187,000. He waved his hand dismissively. "Technically, yes. But Claire, this is our family home. We raised you here. We have an emotional stake in what happens to it." "You have an emotional stake?" I repeated. "I have a legal stake. A financial stake. I own this house. It's in my name. We'll talk to a lawyer," he said. "Work something out. I'm sure we can find a way to transfer it." My hands were shaking. "You want to take my house? The house I bought with my own money. The house I saved you from losing. And give it to Emma." "Don't be dramatic," he said. "You have other properties. You're doing fine. Emma needs this more than you do." That sentence broke something inside me. "I need to go," I said. "Claire, don't be like this." I walked out. I got in my car, drove home, and cried for an hour. Then I called Monica. Monica's office was in a sleek high-rise downtown. I sat across from her, clutching a folder containing every document related to the house. "Tell me what happened," she said. I told her everything. When I finished, Monica leaned back in her chair, fingers steepled. "Do you have the deed?" she asked. "Yes." "Recorded with the county?" "Yes." "The original purchase contract with both their signatures?" "Yes." "Proof of payment? Bank transfers? Canceled checks?" "Every single one." "Property tax receipts in your name?" "For years' worth." "Homeowner's insurance policy?" "In my name." Monica smiled. Then you're untouchable. Relief flooded through me. They can't take it? They can try to sue you, but they'll lose. The deed is clear. The transaction was legal. They signed the contract willingly. There's no fraud, no coercion, no technicality they can exploit. What if they claim I manipulated them? Were they represented by a lawyer during the sale? Yes. Then they had legal counsel advising them. They knew exactly what they were signing. Case closed. I exhaled slowly. So what do I do? Nothing. Yet? Let them make the first move. If they sue, we'll countersue for legal fees and harassment. If they try to transfer the deed without your consent, that's fraud. We'll press charges. But my advice? Sit tight. The law is entirely on your side. I left her office feeling stronger. But I knew this was just the beginning. Over the next 6 months, my family waged a quiet war against me. My mother stopped answering my calls. When I texted, I got one-word responses. Busy. Can't. Later. My father sent me a cold email. We're disappointed in your selfishness. We thought we raised you better. Emma posted cryptic messages on social media. Family is supposed to support each other, not tear each other down. Some people forget where they came from. Blood doesn't mean loyalty anymore, apparently. I knew she was talking about me. Her friends, people I'd known for years, unfriended me on Facebook. Blocked me on Instagram. At family gatherings, I was iced out. Conversations stopped when I approached. No one made eye contact. My aunt, my mother's sister, Jessica, was the only one who stayed neutral. They're wrong, Claire, she told me over coffee. What you did was generous. They're being ungrateful. Then why won't they talk to me? I asked. Because Emma wants that house and your parents can't give it to her. So they're making you the villain. She was right. Emma had convinced my parents that I was the problem. That I was being cruel, withholding, selfish. Never mind that I'd saved them from foreclosure. Never mind that I'd paid for her wedding catering. Never mind that I'd spent my entire childhood being overlooked and undervalued. I was the villain now. In October, Emma had a birthday dinner at an upscale restaurant. My aunt convinced me to go. It'll be fine, she said. It's a public place. They won't make a scene. I went. It was a mistake. Emma sat at the head of the table, wearing a designer dress and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Brad sat beside her, arm draped possessively over her chair. My parents sat across from them, laughing too loud at Brad's jokes. I sat at the far end, next to my aunt. Midway through dinner, after 2 glasses of champagne, Emma stood up. I have an announcement, she said brightly. Everyone turned to her. Brad and I are finally going to get the home we deserve. She beamed at my parents. Mom and Dad have been so generous. They're giving us the family house. My fork clattered onto my plate. Emma's eyes locked onto mine. She was smiling, but her gaze was ice cold. We're so grateful, she continued. Some people don't understand what family means. But Mom and Dad do. The table murmured approval. Brad raised his glass. To family. I set down my napkin and stood up. Emma, I said calmly. They can't give you that house. Her smile faltered. Excuse me. They can't give you that house because it's not theirs to give. It's mine. I own it. The restaurant went quiet. My father's face turned purple. Claire, sit down. Because I earned it, I said. No, I said. I worked for it. I'm tired of pretending this isn't happening. And I'm not giving it to someone who's never had to work for anything in her life. The payment My mother started crying. It's legally mine. How can you say that to your sister? You're being selfish. How can you ask me to give away my house? You have multiple properties. I shot back. Why can't you? My father stood up. Get out. Gladly. I grabbed my purse and walked out of the restaurant, head high, heart pounding. I didn't speak to any of them for 2 months. Then Christmas arrived. My Aunt Jessica called me in mid-December. Claire, please come to Christmas, she begged. I know things are bad, but it's the holidays. Family should be together. They don't want me there, Aunt Jess. I want you there. Please. Just a few hours. For me. I almost said no. But Jessica had always been kind to me. She'd helped me move when I was 18. She'd lent me textbooks in college. She'd believed in me when no one else did. Okay, I said. I'll come. But I'm not staying long. That's all I ask. Christmas morning, I drove to my house, and parked on the street. I sat in my car for 5 minutes, gathering my courage. Then I walked inside. The house was decorated like a Hallmark movie. Garland on the banister. Lights on the tree. The scent of cinnamon and pine. Emma and Brad sat by the fireplace, looking like a catalog couple. My parents bustled around, playing hosts. When I walked in, the room went cold. Merry Christmas, I said. My mother gave me a tight smile. Merry Christmas, Claire. No hug. No warmth. I set my token gift, a candle I'd grabbed at Target, under the tree and sat on the couch with my coffee. We opened presents. Emma got jewelry. Designer handbags. Expensive perfume. A cashmere coat. I got the candle I'd brought, regifted back to me with a different tag. I didn't react. Then my father stood up. He was holding a small velvet box with a red ribbon. And I knew exactly what was about to happen. Emma, my father said, his voice trembling with emotion. Your mother and I have been planning this for a long time. He handed her the box. She opened it. House keys. She gasped. Tears filled her eyes. The house is yours, my father said. We're signing it over to you next week. You and Brad can finally have the life you deserve. My mother sobbed. Emma sobbed. Brad pumped his fist. They all hugged, crying, celebrating. And everyone looked at me, waiting for me to explode, waiting for me to scream, to cry, to storm out. Instead, I smiled. A slow, calm, genuine smile. That's so sweet, I said. Emma froze. What? Congratulations, I said, raising my coffee mug. I hope you love it. Confusion flickered across her face. My father's jaw tightened. He knew something was off. My mother frowned, uncertain. I stayed for another hour, sipping coffee, nibbling cookies, making small talk with Aunt Jessica. Then I stood up. I should get going, I said pleasantly. Merry Christmas, everyone. I walked out, got in my car, and drove away. Then I made a phone call. Monica? It's Claire. I need you to file the eviction paperwork. Are you sure? She asked. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. December 27th. 2 days after Christmas. I showed up at the house at 10 a.m. I wasn't alone. I brought Monica, dressed in a sharp gray suit and carrying a leather briefcase. I brought a county clerk named David Martinez, holding a manila folder. And I brought Sheriff's Deputy and Rodriguez, in full uniform. I knocked on the door. My father opened it, confused. Claire? What's going on? We need to talk, I said. Can we come in? He hesitated, then stepped aside. We walked into the living room. Emma and Brad were on the couch, still in their pajamas. My mother was in the kitchen, freezing when she saw us. What is this? My father demanded. Monica opened her briefcase. My name is Monica Chin. I'm Ms. Donovan's attorney. We're here to clarify a legal matter regarding this property. She pulled out a document and handed it to my father. This is the deed to 847 Maple Street, recorded with the county on March 14, 2021. The legal owner is Claire Marie Donovan. My father stared at the paper, face going pale. Monica pulled out another document. This is the signed contract between Claire Donovan and Michael and Linda Donovan, executed on March 12, 2021. Michael and Linda agreed to sell the property to Claire for $187,000, paid in full on March 13, 2021. She handed it to my mother. My mother's hands trembled. Monica continued, pulling out document after document. This is the bank transfer confirmation showing payment of $187,000 from Claire's account to Michael and Linda's mortgage lender. These are the property tax receipts for the years 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, all paid by Claire Donovan. This is the homeowner's insurance policy, listing Claire Donovan as the sole insured party. These are utility bills, water, electric, gas, all in Claire's name for the past 4 years. She spread them across the coffee table like damning evidence in a trial. The room was silent. Emma's face had gone white. Brad looked confused. My mother was crying. My father just stared at the documents. What this means, Monica said, is that Claire Donovan is the sole legal owner of this property. Michael and Linda have been living here as guests under an informal agreement. That agreement is now terminated. You can't do this, my father said. This is our home. It's Claire's home, Monica corrected. And she has every right to decide who lives here. I stepped forward. Emma, I said, my voice steady. Those keys Dad gave you? They open this house. But this house is mine. It's been mine for 4 years. You have no claim to it. None. Emma's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. You can't kick us out, my father said. We're your parents. You're right, I said. I can't kick you out immediately. That's why I'm giving you 60 days notice. Deputy Rodriguez stepped forward. I'm here to serve formal eviction notice, she said. She handed my father an envelope. You have 60 days from today to vacate the premises. Failure to comply will result in legal action. My father stared at the envelope like it was a bomb. This is insane, Brad said. You can't just throw your family out on the street. I'm not throwing them on the street, I said. I'm evicting non-paying tenants from my property. There's a difference. We'll see you, my father said, voice shaking. We'll take you to court. Monica smiled coldly. Please do. We'll countersue for legal fees, court costs, harassment, and emotional distress. You'll lose, and you'll owe Ms. Donovan an additional $50,000 to $70,000. I strongly advise against it. My mother collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Emma stood up, face twisted with rage. You're a monster, she hissed. You're destroying this family. I looked her in the eye. No, Emma. You destroyed this family when you decided you were entitled to something I worked for. When you spent your entire life taking and never once saying thank you. When you convinced Mom and Dad that I owed you my house just because you wanted it. We're family, she screamed. Family doesn't steal, I said. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't treat people like ATMs and then act shocked when the money runs out. My father stepped toward me. You're disowned. You hear me, Claire? You're not our daughter anymore. You're dead to us. The words should have hurt. But they didn't. You disowned me a long time ago, Dad, I said quietly. I just finally noticed. I turned to Monica. We're done here. We walked out. Behind me, I heard Emma screaming. My mother wailing. My father cursing. I didn't look back. The next 60 days were war. My parents hired a lawyer, some guy named Greg Mitchell, who took one look at the documents and told them they had no case. He dropped them as clients after 3 days. They tried to hire another lawyer. Same result. No one would take the case. It was too clear-cut. Meanwhile, Emma launched a social media campaign against me. She posted long, tearful videos calling me heartless, cruel, vindictive. My sister is evicting my parents from their home, she sobbed into the camera. The home they raised us in. She's throwing them out onto the street just because she can. This is what greed does to people. The video went viral. I got hundreds of hate messages. You're disgusting. Your parents should have disowned you years ago. I hope you rot in hell. Distant relatives I hadn't spoken to in years called to yell at me. My cousin Melissa left a voicemail. I always knew you were selfish, Claire, but this is a new low. My uncle Robert sent an email. You're a disgrace to the family name. Even some of my friends questioned me. Claire, is this really necessary? My friend Dana asked. They're your parents. I blocked most of them. The ones who truly knew me, the ones who'd been there when I was struggling, when I was working 3 jobs, when I was invisible to my family, they supported me. My friend Marcus texted, stand your ground. They made their bed. My friend Keisha sent flowers with a card, proud of you for choosing yourself. Aunt Jessica called me every week. Ignore them, Claire. You did the right thing. Emma tried everything to stop the eviction. She filed a complaint with the county, claiming I'd forged the deed. The county clerk investigated and confirmed the deed was legitimate. She tried to claim adverse possession, arguing my parents had lived there long enough to claim ownership. Monica laughed. Adverse possession requires hostile occupation, meaning without the owner's permission. Your parents lived there with Claire's explicit permission. That claim is nonsense. Emma even tried to get a restraining order against me, claiming I was harassing them. The judge threw it out in 10 minutes. My parents tried a different approach. My mother called me, voice weak and trembling. "Claire, please. I'm begging you. Don't do this. We have nowhere to go. You have 2 months to find somewhere," I said. "We can't afford rent. Your father's still looking for work. My medical bills. You should have thought about that before you tried to steal my house." We weren't stealing. We just wanted to help Emma. By taking what was mine. Without asking. Without my permission. She was crying. "Claire, please. I'm your mother. A mother who chose her favorite daughter over the one who saved her," I said. "Goodbye, Mom." I hung up. She called back 17 times. I didn't answer. 60 days came and went. On the final day, I showed up with Deputy Rodriguez and a moving truck. My parents were still inside. "This is your final warning," Deputy Rodriguez said. "You need to vacate immediately, or I'll arrest you for trespassing." My father stood in the doorway, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "Please, Claire," he said. "Don't do this." "You did this," I said. "You made the choice. Now you live with it." They left. They'd rented a small 2-bedroom condo across town. Emma and Brad moved in with them temporarily for adults crammed into a tiny space. I heard through Aunt Jessica that they were fighting constantly. Brad blamed Emma for the disaster. Emma blamed me. My parents blamed everyone. I changed the locks. I walked through the house alone, room by room. The living room where I'd been ignored at Christmas. The kitchen where I'd overheard my mother call me difficult. The bedroom where I'd cried myself to sleep as a teenager, wondering why I wasn't good enough. I couldn't live there. Too many ghosts. So I renovated. I ripped out the old carpet and installed hardwood floors. I painted every wall a fresh, clean white. I updated the kitchen with stainless steel appliances and marble countertops. I turned it into something new. Something that wasn't haunted by memories of being second best. 3 months later, I listed the house for sale. It sold in 6 days. For $412,000. After agent fees and closing costs, I walked away with $378,000 in profit. I used the money to pay off the last of my business loans and buy 2 more rental properties. My portfolio was now worth over $1.2 million. I was financially free. 6 months after the eviction, my mother had a health scare. Aunt Jessica called me. "Claire, your mom's in the hospital. Stress-induced heart episode. She's asking for you." I felt a pang of guilt. But I didn't go. I sent flowers with a card. "Hope you feel better soon." No signature. 8 months later, Emma's marriage imploded. Brad left her for a coworker, a 24-year-old analyst named Brittany. Emma called me for the first time in a year, sobbing. "Claire, Brad left me. I have no one. I need help." I stared at my phone. Part of me wanted to help her. She was still my sister. But the other part, the part that remembered every dismissal, every insult, every moment of being invisible, stayed silent. "I'm sorry that happened to you," I said. "But I can't help you. Please." I hung up. She texted me later. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't understand. Please, can we talk?" I didn't reply. A year after the eviction, my father called. "Claire. It's Dad." I almost hung up. "Can we talk?" he asked. "Please. Just 5 minutes." I sighed. "Talk." "I was wrong," he said. "We were wrong. We treated you terribly. We took you for granted. We." "Stop," I said. "You're not sorry. You're just sorry you lost." "That's not true." "Yes, it is. If I'd given Emma the house, you'd still be ignoring me. you'd still be treating me like the backup daughter. You only care now because I stood up for myself and it cost you. Silence. I'm sorry, Claire. I don't forgive you, I said. And I hung up. 2 years have passed since that Christmas morning. I don't speak to my parents. I don't speak to Emma. I see Aunt Jessica for coffee once a month. She updates me on family drama, who's fighting with whom, who needs money, who's still mad at me. I listen politely, but I don't care anymore. My mother's health has stabilized. My father found a job managing a small hardware store. Emma's working as a social media manager and living in a studio apartment. They're surviving. And so am I. Better than surviving, actually. I'm thriving. My real estate business is booming. I just closed on my 8th property, a fourplex near the university. I have real friends now. People who see me, who value me, who don't treat me like an ATM. I'm dating someone, a kind, funny architect named David who thinks I'm brilliant and doesn't care that I don't talk to my family. I'm happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder if I was too harsh. If I should have forgiven them. If family is worth swallowing your pride and your pain. But then I remember that Christmas morning. I remember Emma's face when she opened that velvet box. I remember my parents' tears of joy. I remember sitting in the corner, invisible again, holding a regifted candle. And I remember thinking, they will never see me. They will never value me. And if I give them this house, they will never even thank me. So no, I wasn't too harsh. I was finally, after 32 years, exactly harsh enough. If you've ever been the family scapegoat, the one who gave everything and got nothing, I see you. If you've ever been the backup child, the afterthought, the one who didn't quite measure up to the golden sibling, I understand. If you've ever had to choose between your family and your self-respect, I know how hard that is. But I'm here to tell you, choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. Those keys my father gave Emma on Christmas morning? They were always mine. Just like my future was always mine. And I'm not giving it away ever again. Drop a comment if you've ever had to walk away from family to protect yourself. Hit that like button if you believe in standing up for yourself, even when it costs you everything. Subscribe for more real stories about betrayal, justice, and finding the strength to choose yourself. Because sometimes, the only way to win is to stop playing their game.